Welcome back to the Power Half Hour. As you know, we're very privileged to have Dr. John Demartini in the studio with us. Hi John, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
You know, we've been discussing values this evening, and you've given us a whole lot of insights into how your values determine the future. One thing that I just want to ask you is, are we aiming for what we really believe success is? Because society has this definition, and it says you've got to drive the big car, you've got to have the big house, you've got to have lots of wealth. But what does success really mean to the individual, and how do I find out what that is to me?
Well, I believe that your achievements and your feelings of fulfillment, or what some people call success, is directly proportionate to how congruent the ambitions and goals and intentions and objectives you have to your highest values. If your highest value is raising a beautiful family with 3 children, and that's your dream, and you desire to have a beautiful house, and then your level of success and your idea of achievement would be that. If your dream is to be a contribution to social causes and to do something amazing and make a difference in the world, then your idea of success would be that. If yours is about being fit and looking great and having a great bod and keeping, vital, whatever it is that's truly meaningful to you, that is what success is about. It may be that many people have a desire to have the big home and the cars and things like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's not more or less successful. I always say that everybody has their own form of success. I knew a gentleman who was a ditch digger that I got to study under when I was a young boy. My father asked me to go and be with him because he had such an inspiration. And he said, I have the most important job in the world because I bring water from the source to the people at the homes. And without me, nobody has water, nobody's alive. So when I dig a ditch, I change the world. And so it doesn't matter what you do. What matters is it meaningful to you, and is it inspiring to you, and is it what you really value? It's not what other people think about you, ultimately. It's about what you think about you. When you value you, the world begins to value you. When you invest in you, the world begins to invest in you. And when you take the time to look inside and discover that nothing's missing in you, the world sees that nothing's missing in you.
Right. So, John, I think what you're saying is it's about authenticity. We sometimes have this illusion about what success really means. But ultimately, once you find out what that really is to you, and you align your values with that, success really becomes simple, doesn't it? It sort of opens up to you.
Well, you can either align your goals to your values, or you can align your values to your goals. There's a science of both. I teach both of them in my breakthrough experience. But the key is a congruency between them. Because if they're not matched, you're going to feel incomplete. And it's interesting. I used to have cars, but I don't have a car today. So I guess by some people's definition, I'm not successful. I don't have a car.
Well, and you live in a mobile home as well.
I live in a mobile home. So it all depends on, people have all kind of projections. Everybody shows love according to their values. Everybody assumes that if you live according to their values, you'll be more achieving. But it's not about what other people project onto you. It's about what you feel inspired from within to fulfill. Because you're going to wake up someday, and all those projections from anybody else have led you to a confusion and an unfulfillment. And you're going to be stuck then going, wait a minute, is this really my life? And you eventually kind of emerge out of it and have the strength to transcend the influence on the outside. I said on the movie The Secret, when the voice and the vision on the inside is louder and more profound than all opinions on the outside, now you've begun to master life.
Right. So it's about congruency, isn't it? Because if you're living an incongruent life, and I think that's where most people are trapped, is they have an illusion what they believe they want, and it's not aligned with what their true values are. So the way that I'm hearing you say we need to do that is to bring those two into alignment. Either decide what success really means to you and make sure that your values are aligned with that picture, or switch it around and say, what do I really want? What's the picture that I want my future to look like? How can I realign my values to actually move me in the direction of that picture of success that I have?
Or honor the values you have and set goals that match it. Either one. I teach both because there's a science on how to transform values into those that lead you to an outcome. When I go and stand in front of thousands of people and I ask them how many want to be financially independent, everybody puts a hand down. And then I ask them how many are, and then most everybody puts a hand down. And I said, unless you have the true values to save money and invest money and to study money more than spend money and buy consumables that depreciate, you're probably not going to have financial independence because you have to save it and have it work for you instead of you working for it all your life. So as long as they don't have the values that will lead them there, then they have a frustration and a fantasy that's going to lead them to the upset inside themselves. They're going to blame themselves because, what's wrong? What am I doing wrong? They're not. They're living according to their values, but they're having expectations that don't match it. Once the expectations and the objectives really match the values, they spontaneously are inspired from within to do it. They'll persevere and endure pain and pleasure in the pursuit of it. They will exemplify it by their own actions without even thinking about it. They'll be inspired by it from within, and they will achieve. It's that simple. We make it more difficult, but there is really a science to it.
So I think that's the message I'm getting here is we're complicating our lives, aren't we? We're making a simple thing into something really tough. And if we just sit back and we look at things from a fresh set of eyes and we make that small shift, because it's not a case of having to reboot our lives and start things from scratch. It's very much a case of just making some small shifts, knowing what you want, aligning what you're good at. In other words, work on strengthening your strengths and ignore your weaknesses, because values and strengths kind of align with each other. Am I right?
Well, when you're doing something that's high in your values, you tend to excel at it and accelerate. Right. And when you're doing things that are low in your values, you tend to decelerate. And so the key, and the deceleration is a feedback to try to get you to live authentically. Every symptom in your life that you feel unfulfilled by is actually feedback from your life to try to get you to be authentic. And so once you are, you will find that everything has been on the way and you're grateful. You won't see things in the way. But if you're sitting there and becoming a victim of your history and talking about how things aren't working instead of focusing on what is inspiring to you and filling your day with it, then you become a master of your destiny.
Right. And I think it's when you're setting goals and you're looking to go in a direction, it's about measurement. Because I think very often, you know, you look at yourself and your goal is to lose weight. Well, you get on the scale's either high or it's low, or the belly's fat or it's not. So you've got that barometer, that measure that's sitting there all the time that's telling you whether things are working or not. And as you're moving down that path, the secret is not to let a whole year go by and look back and go, oh, I'm still fat. But to have some sort of barometer, some sort of measurement that you keep taking on a regular basis to say, well, is the stuff I'm doing actually delivering the outcomes that I'm wanting to achieve?
Well, they're sometimes called milestones.
Right.
When you have a long-term vision, it's wise to chunk it down into small-time daily bites. And then you can see at the end of the day, did you accomplish this piece? If you did, and you can be grateful for that piece, because you know if you fulfill that piece, you're on your way to the next piece. And you just keep doing that every day. By the inch it's a cinch. And I always say piggy banks become biggie banks if you do a little at a time. I found myself, I've had a dream to do what I do, traveling and teaching and things since I was 17. And I just, every day, I document what I'm grateful for. And I have probably the largest collection of gratitudes of anybody I know. And if I just every day stop, look at what I set out, what I did accomplish, document what I did, and think about what I'm grateful for, I find when I'm grateful for what I have, I get more to be grateful for.
It's amazing. I think it comes back down to that adage of what you think about, you bring about. So if you're thinking about the things that you're grateful for, in other words, the successes that you've enjoyed in your life, it's very much aligned with getting more of the same into your life. So that's kind of my interpretation of the law of attraction. It's like your reticular activating system. It's that neural net of nerves that, you know, if you think about buying a Toyota, all of a sudden all you see is Toyotas around you. And it's that focus. And if you're grateful for what you're getting and you're focusing on that, you're definitely doing the right thing. And you're moving your thoughts and your actions in the right direction.
Whenever you have a high value on something and you have a congruency in your intention, it's exactly what you said. You see opportunities, you act on opportunities, you make decisions quickly, and you stick to them.
Absolutely. John, thank you so much. You're coming back all the way and appearing on the Empower Half Hour again. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
And to all of you out there, thank you so much for watching. It's been incredible having such an incredible person sitting with us who, as you know from our first series, came from very humble beginnings and just through perseverance, patience and persistence has begun to live the most incredible life that is totally aligned with his values and his dreams. And that's what I want you. I want you to go away and to take these messages, these ideas, these concepts, bring them into your life and start to apply them, to use them. And you too could start living that sort of incredible life. We'd like to welcome you to come back, same time, same place, for more of the same next week. Thanks so much.